everybody, I'm back finally. Today I'm going to do a chocolate and gold eye with brown lipstick, and I'm going to start off with the Benefit Pore-fessional primer and use this Target foundation blush oh goodness, Target foundation brush to blend that in. I normally just target my forehead, my nose, the tops of my cheeks, and down my smile lines, the areas I normally crease or have enlarged pores. Alright, now taking my Real Technique sponge and the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation in the shade Porcelain. I'm going to dot that on my forehead, cheeks, my nose, and my chin. And then taking my sponge and blending it in. I love this foundation. It wears a very long time. But one thing I will say is if you do this, you need to work quick because it starts to dry very quickly and it's harder to blend out. Okay, next taking my Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade 115. I am going to dot that under my eyes and blend that in with my Real Technique sponge. And again, ignore me, I am listening to music. I'm not talking to myself. Okay, taking my Dermablend translucent setting powder and picking that up with my Real Technique sponge, I'm going to set my face. I like to pour the powder in the cap and pick it up with my sponge. That way it makes less of a mess. And I start off with setting my under eyes and looking kind of crazy. Now picking up my E.L.F. powder brush and the Tarte Amazonian Clay bronzer in the shade Park Avenue Princess, I am going to bring some life back into my very, very pale face. Now picking up the dual-ended EcoTools brush and that same bronzer, I am going to carve out my nose. Now I'm going to take the Clinique Sunset Glow blush and the Luxe blush brush and bring some color to my cheeks. And taking the Maybelline Master Blush palette, I'm going to pick up the highlighting shade there and put it down my nose and on the top of my cheeks. Now picking up my sponge again, I am just going to blend in all that we did to make it a little bit softer. And try not to knock the camera off the desk. And picking up the E.L.F. Matte Magic Setting Spray, I'm going to go ahead and set the base that we just did, just because I went in with a lot of powders today and to help soften everything up. Right, picking up my spoilie, I'm going to comb through my brows very quickly. My brow, my other one, only half exists. Right, and going in with the Maybelline DefineABrown pencil in the shade Light Brown, I am going to start drawing on my eyebrows. Okay, now going in with the shade Cork from the Makeup Revolution Mattes palette. I'm just going to set down what we did, and I find this powder is a little closer to my natural hair color, and it brings that warmth back from the brown. Right, now going in with my spoilie, I'm going to soften up everything we did to make it look a little more natural. Had to strike a pose there. This is the Morphe 25B palette. I'm going to take that first shade, it's a off-white shade, and coat my entire lid from lid to brow bone with it to make a smooth, silky base to work with. And I find doing this just helps other powders, especially darker ones, blend easier on top. Right, picking up this nice chocolatey color from the 25B palette, I am just going to start working that into my crease with a very light hand. I could not find the color I was looking for in there, so I'm going to pick up the Morphe 9C Jewels palette and use the shade called Chocolate Diamond and tapping off the excess. I love Morphe eyeshadows. They are so creamy and pigmented, but you do have to use a light hand and be sure to tap off your brush. And I am bringing this all the way into the inner corner. Going in again for the other eye, tapping off my brush, and again just working that in all the way from outer to inner corner. Going back in with this pretty fudgy brown color, I am going to work that in over it to blend everything out. If you have smaller eyes, you may not want to bring this all the way into the inner corner because it can tend to make your eyes look smaller and close them up. I'm going to go in with this taupey color just to soften up what we did. While it was very pretty on its own, I wanted more of a toasted burnt look, and this shade kind of took out some of that warmness and gave it more of a subdued dusty color. Okay, I'm going in with the shade Fool's Gold from the 9C palette. I am going to dab that on my lid. Alright, picking up the Morphe 25B palette again, I'm going to go in with this shimmery gold shade in here. I just decided I needed something else, and this is a little softer sheen of gold, and it added that extra little oomph that I needed. Okay, picking up that fudgy brown color, I'm going to blend between my eyelid and crease just to make sure that it blends from gold to brown seamlessly. Now picking up Chocolate Diamond with the short stubby EcoTools brush, I am going to work that into my lower lash line. Okay, going in with the Budgie Brown color from the 25B palette, I'm going to buff out what we just did and make it a little smokier. And I'm using the other end of that EcoTools dual-ended brush. Right, and taking that taupey shade again, I'm going to run over what we did so it matches the upper crease. Now I'm going to pick up that first shade that we set down at the beginning, and I'm just going to put it on my inner corners to open my eyes back up and beneath my brow bone. And I accidentally lost some of my crease there, so I picked up a brush and just brought it back in, dusted that layer away. Okay, now I'm going to pick up the Full Exposure Mascara by Smashbox and coat my upper and lower lashes. Sorry, I was playing with the color, trying to figure out why it's going in and out. Okay, now I am taking the Melted Chocolate Lipstick by Too Faced in the shade Chocolate Honey. I'm going to apply that to my lips. Now I'm going to pick up the E.L.F. Matte Magic Setting Spray one last time and set my entire face. And that, you guys, is the finished look. I hope you have enjoyed this golden chocolate makeup tutorial. And I hope you will come back to my channel. My next video will be a 5-minute everyday makeup tutorial. Something definitely different for me. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.